Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder, coming to you live tonight from Gateway Motorsport Park for round 2, and we're going to be treated for a great lot of racing here tonight. 100 laps around this circuit, and it's definitely going to test the drivers out. So as you can see folks, at the moment the guys are out there in practice, and we're going to be getting underway racing very shortly. Unfortunately at the moment it's only me in the combox once more. I was going to be joined by Ryan Shelton tonight, but for some reason he may still be in bed. It's 6:25 AM over there in the United States where Ryan resides. So hopefully he'll come and join us a bit later on, but until then we'll get into the action here, and qualifying will be starting very shortly. They'll have 15 minutes to qualify. It's alone qualifying, and they'll have, I think, 4 laps to run and to set the pole for tonight's big event. Now, a little bit about this series, folks. It's a fixed race series, so all the cars have the same setup pretty much. They have one fast repair and unlimited incidents. But you know what we saw last week, these fast repairs, they can get gobbled up within the first couple of laps, and the guys struggle for the rest of the night. The other thing we need to keep an eye on tonight is, of course, tyre wear. And I've been told by the drivers out there, tyres last probably 2 to 3 laps before they start going off at this circuit, and they will be searching for the best grip, whether it's down low, up high, and they'll have to make some compromises on the way the cars handle. I've heard into turn 1 they're a bit loose, and into turn 3 they're a bit tight, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that tonight as well. So I'd like to welcome everybody that's joined us either through YouTube tonight or on iRacing Live. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoy tonight's coverage of the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder, and we'll be qualifying very shortly. But at the moment, Jake Blackhall, winner of round 1, he is setting provisional pole in practice. Fastest time 33.709 seconds. So as you can see, practice is over now. We will be going straight to qualifying. 3 laps they'll have to set the fastest lap. As I said, lone qualifying. We can see now Daniel Stevens coming out in the number 66. We've also got James Foster in the number 14 coming out to set a fastest time, as well as Jake Blackhall. Now they do have 15 minutes, so they don't all have to come out at once, and we can see a handful have chosen to come straight out. And there's quite a few, probably half the field sitting in the pits at the moment. But let's see what Jake does on his first flying lap around Gateway Motorsport Park. So he's on to his first flying lap now. His target is around about the 30-second mark, and we'll see if he actually gets to provisional pole on his first lap. At the moment, Daniel Stevens is Edward Foster, is seeded number 1. As you can see, he has not set a time. Jake will be the first to set the fastest time out here, and he's done a 33.857. That brings him up to provisional pole. Have a look at Daniel Stevens now. He's on a flying lap, and we'll see if he can better that time. So Daniel's last time was a 34.055, so he's seated in second at the moment. He's just been pushed down to third. See what he does this flying lap now as he comes across the start-finish line. and he's been pushed down to 4th. He has not improved. 34.166. Edward Foster's out there at the moment having a run as well, and his last lap was a 34.055, and we'll see what he can do. There's only 2 cars at the moment in the 33s. That's Jason Martin, provisional pole, Jake Blackhall, and Edward Foster did a 34.267. See now Phil Otto also out there in the beautifully presented number 1 entry, and looks like he's not on a flyer, he's just coming around. What about Nick Craddock? He is definitely on a flyer here. His last lap 34.650, currently sitting in 7th. Can he improve? Well, we'll soon find out as he's coming through the final corner now. Comes across the start-finish line now. The time is 34.840, so he does not improve. So at the moment, if we look at your top 10, we have Jason Martin, provisional pole, Jake Blackhall in 2nd, then Edward Foster sitting in 3rd, Daniel Stevens 4th, James Foster, he's provisionally 5th at the moment. Then we've got Phil Otto in 6th, Nick Craddock 7th, Darren Lord 8th, Craig Lawless 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Steve Hoppett. See now Danny G's coming out to have a bit of a run. He's seeded in 11th at the moment, and we'll see what he can do. He hasn't set any laps yet, so we've got still to see tonight in qualifying. Danny G is out now. Dave Douglas, Daniel Vassell, Norman Clark, Darren McKenzie, Matt Stratford, Darren Bond and Thomas Hinds have all not set a time yet. Darren O'Brien, he is in the car. We're just waiting for him to come out on the circuit. We've also got Roger Clark out here now. We'll see what Roger can do as he's coming through to start his first flying lap now. And he's currently sitting in 15th. And we'll see if he can do anything to get this car up onto pole position tonight. So now coming down into the final turn 3 and 4 here at Gateway, and currently you can see the time 27 seconds, 28, 29. It's going to, don't think he's going to be quick enough here as he comes across 34.629, and that takes him up to 9th position. See Danny G's coming back out again. He aborted his warm-up for some reason, and he's trying to get that car out. It's sounding like it's misfiring a little bit. So he's also got internet connection problems, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that this evening as well. So see now as Danny G's coming across to start his flying lap. He's on his way now, 18 seconds so far, coming into turn 3, then turn 4, and we'll see if he can get into the top 10, if not the top 5. I'm sure he'll be aiming for a provisional pole if he can do it, as he comes down now the start-finish line, and he does a 34.212, and that's going to jump him up to 5th position. See Norman Clark now, he's coming out to have a run, and Norman is Roger Clark's father, and it was actually Norman that got Roger into this motorsport, and he's another guy to keep an eye on tonight. So the total amount of cars we have here tonight, folks, is 20, and not a bad turnout. Very young series. We're only in round 2 here, and it's good to see the guys supporting it, especially for NASCAR racing in Australia and New Zealand, and that's what this league's all about. It's to promote this style of racing down under and hopefully get some Premier Series up and running. I know the guys are looking at other categories of NASCAR, and we'll definitely be going along for the ride with them. You can see now Norman Clark coming around the final corner onto the start finish line. 33, he's already 34.412. That's going to move him up to 8th position, and so far your top 10 is Jason Martin and Jake Blackhall, 1st and 2nd. I don't think anyone's going to get near them tonight. As far as setting the grid goes, Edward Foster 3rd, Daniel Stevens 4th, Danny G in 5th, James Foster 6th, 7th, Phil Otto. Norman Clark is still on his 2nd flying lap now, sitting in 8th, Nick Craddock 9th, and Darren Ward. He rounds out our top 10. As we can see now, Norman has set a 34.509, and that has not improved him. So have a look, we can see David Vassell now. He's also coming out to set his time. So the drivers we have not seen set a time yet tonight, folks, is Dave Douglas. We've got Daniel Vassell out now, Darren O'Brien, Matt Stratford, Darren Bond and Thomas Hinds all have not set a time as yet. See now he's coming around the final corner now. David Vassell here, currently 16th, coming across 34.716 is the first flying lap time. Is only good enough for 13th position here, and quite a bit of work to do there for David as he's now coming around for his 2nd flying lap. We've also got Darren McKenzie. Well, Darren's gone off onto the infield, so we'll get back to Daniel Vassell here and see if he can improve on his 2nd flying lap here at Gateway Motorsport Park. Little bit of frustration there by the looks of it from Daniel Vassell as he puts it into the fence. Did not improve on that time. Currently he will be starting from 13th. We could see Darren McKenzie now just coming back into the pits, and that's pretty much qualifying done and dusted, folks. So while we're waiting for the drivers to grid up, you can see them now. Let's jump out and get a better view of the field. All these cars are beautifully presented, but let's have a look at our grid, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver will be starting this evening. So Jason Martin will start from pole position tonight with Jake Blackhall on the front row next to him. Edward Foster, he'll start out a 3rd, and he's got Daniel Stevens on his outside. Danny G in the 3rd row with James Foster starting beside him. In 7th night, Phil Otto, and then we've got Norman Clark starting out of 8th. Nick Craddock, he'll start out of 9th, and Darren Lord beside him in 10th. Darren McKenzie will start in 11th, and Roger Clark will start out of 12th. Out of 13th tonight is Daniel Vassell. Then we've got Craig Lawless out of 14th. 15th, Steve Hoppett. Jake Maloney will start in 16th. Matt Stratford 17th. Thomas Hinds will start out of 18th. Out of 19th tonight is Darren O'Brien. Dave Douglas is starting in 20th, and rounding out our field of 21 is Darren Bond. So as I was saying before we read out the grid, the guys have put a lot of work into these liveries, and my goodness, don't they look fantastic as they take to the grid for tonight's race. And we can see the grid down there forming up now. So 100 laps around here, folks. How far can we go before we get a safety car? That is the question. See now we will be under safety car orders very shortly. One lap around here, then we will go racing. And just letting the field cycle through. You can see them in the background there, just closing in, and then we'll start this race. See Edward Foster there in the RRTV livery, and he'll be looking to have a fantastic run here tonight. You can see Daniel Stevens also out there. There's Jake Blackhall, he's sitting on the outside here, the number 21. He will have control of this race, and they'll have to wait for him to go, and that's Jason Martin. So safety cars in, folks. Jason Martin will have control of the field here. What's he going to do? Is he going to back him up, or when's he going to go? Foot down, great start there. Jake Blackhall's been caught snoozing on the outside, and he's backed up the outside, dropped down to 4th position. Bad start there for Jake. You can see as they come through turn 1 for the first time, and our top 10R, we've got Jason Martin leading, Edward Foster, he's in 2nd, Danny G jumped up to 3rd, Jake Blackhall now coming back on the inside here to take 3rd position and push Danny down. Then we have Daniel Stevens and James Foster having a great battle. Phil Otto sitting in 7th, Norman Clark 8th, 9th Darren Ward. Rounding out your top 10 is Roger Clark. We ride with Roger Clark now. We can see him 10th. He's up 2 positions from where he started, and Darren Lord just passed him as if he's standing still. So we'll see if the inside line or the outside is going to work, as we can see now Roger going on the inside of his father Norman, and father and son here. Let's hope they don't collide, or else it could be a very tense at dinner tonight, as we see now lap 3, and almost 3 wide there as Nick Craddock is sitting in the 192. Who was that went up high? That was Daniel Vessel. He's getting pushed down. He's in 13th at the moment. He's got the 52. Thomas Hinds just went through, and now we've got Jake Maloney also trying to make a move on the inside. It's under safety car, folks, so it's caught napping there. So it's been a long day. Let's see if we can work out what exactly is going on. It looks like Craig Lawless has had a bit of an issue out there. Let's jump back and have a look at the West End Mazda replay and see if we can work out exactly what's going on here. Yeah, car got loose up top and Craig went on the inside, and that was enough to, looks like, to bring out our first safety car here tonight, folks. And not a lot of carnage, but we can see now the guys coming into the pit lane. Of course, for you new to NASCAR, there's no pit limiter on these cars, and it's just as frantic in pit lane as it is outside. We've got 3 cars at the moment in there, and the rest of the field have chosen to stay out since it's only lap 5. So see now So we'll see if Jason Martin chooses to come into the pits this time by, or if they they're going to stay out. So at the moment you can see Edward Foster sitting in a second there, Danny G third. Where's Jake Blackhall? Looking for him. He's all the way down in 16th position because he did pit. His stop was 14.6 seconds, so was Darren O'Brien's. Jake Maloney also took to the pits on this first stop, as did Norman Clark. The only driver that did not take to the grid tonight, folks, was Dave Douglas, and we've got a field of 20 still out there circulating. Safety car lights are out, folks. We're going to be racing very, very shortly, and we're up to lap 6 of 100. It's going to be quite a long night for me, folks, since I'm the only one in the comm box, and I'm also doing the cameras, so I'll do whatever I can to make this as entertaining as possible for you, but hopefully we won't muff it up. You can see Jason Martin inside, Edward Foster will start on the outside there, and Danny G, of course, sitting down in on the inside of Daniel Stevens, and that's your top 4 as we come back to a restart. Riding on board now with Daniel Stevens as we go racing once again. You can see Jason Martin's got a fantastic start. Danny G has made a move. It looks like we've got Daniel Stevens held up high here. Just hear him nursing the throttle here, and that's because James Foster is working on the inside of him. So now James Foster having a look on the inside of Daniel Stevens here. He's got the overlap. He's going to go in. It's just not fast enough. He's going to push Daniel up though. But looks like that high groove is working really well there tonight. It's interesting there, James Foster was going down a gear, but having a look at the moment with Jason Martin in first, he's got 0.7 of a second over Danny G now in second. Third is Edward Foster. Daniel Stevens having a great battle here with James Foster. Daniel on the inside, James on the outside, and Daniel makes that move stick. Looking further down the field, folks, you can see the huge train down here. We've got Thomas Hinds, he's sitting in 8th position in the 52, and then we've got Roger Clark just behind him, Daniel Vassell there in 10th, Darren Lord, Jake Blackhall, he's already starting to move up, as we can see him on the inside here, making a move on the 015, that's Darren Lord, and it looks like Matt Stratford is coming to the party as well. See how close these boys get to racing, and this is a big skill in NASCAR racing. We've got to be very precise, and not only that, but they have to be used to driving at extremely close quarters here, as we see a car up high into the wall, and I'll get you a number of that. I think that was Phil Otto that was up in the wall there. Looked like he had a little bit of push, or he's found himself up there in the marbles, but he continues on, and we are no longer, we're not under safety car. So it looks like we may have Ryan Shelton here tonight. Can you hear me, Ryan?
I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah, how you going, Ryan? We're on to lap 13, I think, here, under second safety car tonight, and the racing's been quite interesting.
Yeah, it's as I figured it would be. This track's definitely going to put up some amazing battles, especially because it's really hard to pass. These guys are really, really good at making sure to get the most out of these trucks, that's for sure.
Just have a looking at the West End Mazda replay. Danny G was the driver that brought out the safety car here tonight for the second time. We'll just have a look at what occurred. He's out there by himself, Ryan, so obviously he hasn't had a helping hand, but we did see him in the wall about a lap earlier.
Yeah, what tends to happen as soon as you hit the wall once is you think you want to put some more wheel into the car and to make the car turn more, because what tends to happen is you get it on the exit of the corner, you'll hit the wall. So you put a little bit more wheel into it. When you put more wheel and you don't use less gas, it makes the truck just spin right around, especially coming out of turn 2 like that.
Yeah, it's definitely looks like he's got his hands full as we now see the guys coming in. Jason Martin leading the procession into the pits, and from what I understand here, Ryan, the pits are just as hectic as it is out on track here in the NASCAR racing.
Yeah, because it's so hard to pass on track, the easiest way to make position is on pit road. So if you can get a good run into the pit, a clean entry into your pit boxes, that seems to be the biggest thing with iRacing. Not so much your pit crew, as we see Jason Martin come out, and the 13 of Daniel Goriski just made it out before Edward Foster did. So it looks like Matt Stratford actually may have lost. No, he actually stayed out on track. So that's going to be another thing to watch out for. Is you'll see these guys, they'll stay out on track, try to get position, so try to get some of that track position, because like I said, it is very hard to make passes here.
Yeah, one of the guys that made a lot of position in the pits was Roger Clark. We can see him there now. He actually came second out the pits. All the other drivers were in the 14 seconds. His pit crew did a 9.1 second stop, which allowed him to leapfrog a lot of drivers.
So yeah, so it sounds like he actually took 2 tires. I was not able to see this. I was just now hopping into the lobby, but it looks like he might have taken 2 tires again to try to grab some of those positions in hopes for another quick caution later on, so that he can change those left sides on another pit run.
And the drivers that did not pit in this last pace car caution here is Darren McKenzie stayed out, Daniel Vassell also stayed out, Matt Stratford and Steve Hoppett all chose to not come in. 16 laps here of 100 down, and we haven't had the big one here tonight. The guys are having a fantastic run, and I'm quite surprised, Ryan. I was expecting a lot of carnage here, touch wood, but it's been good, clean racing so far.
Yep, and we'll see them come down. The pace car should come down. Looks like the lights are off. Yep, so they'll drop down. Now Daniel Vassell has control over the field. He can go whenever he pleases, and he goes early. And that's when the spread the filler out. Oh, that damn, I can't see that.
Yeah, he went real early, didn't he? Strung them out here. We can see now Roger Clark 3 wide almost here. Who's on the inside of him? Jason Martin. It's not Jason Martin, sorry. Danny G. Edward Foster also having a go, but look at Roger and Danny G side by side into turn 3.
Yep. And it looks like Steve Hoppett has absolutely lost position because he did not take tires. He's going to drop back forward all the way back to It seems to be 11th, 12th. It looks like he's just giving up now.
Yeah, he's a sitting duck out there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's moved all the way back to 12th position. Just in one lap, he's lost 8 positions, all because he did not take the pits.
Yeah,
and you'll see the 2 tires versus 4 happen with Roger Clark, James Foster. Roger is just absolutely dropping like a dog. James is moving up. Those new tires will be worth about half a second a lap after about 10 laps of green flag.
It's quite interesting because Darren McKenzie and Daniel Vassell here both did not take tyres last time. They're holding their own out there against Danny G, who did. Matt Stratford also, he's starting to, we're under pace car once again here at Gateway. Let's see if we can work out what happened here.
It looks like Steve Hoppett may have had some issues. Went in turn 3, got a little loose, tried to save it, and he just could not save it.
Yeah, that car it did not look right from the start, did it? He's carrying a lot of damage on that vehicle, but he just did not seem to get going. Oh, and we can see now, as you said, that big lazy slide keeps it off the wall and brings out the safety car.
Absolutely.
The pace car, sorry folks. I'll get used to this terminology.
Yeah, we call it a pace car around here, as it does mostly pacing and a lot less safety, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've still got to get used to all this terminology. One of the viewers was kind enough to correct me on that earlier, and I'm definitely going to have to get some reading up in between this round and the next one, I think, Ryan.
Luckily, there's a lot of it that you can read up. And normally, just watching one broadcast, you can pick up on all the NASCAR-isms.
Yeah, we can see now Danny Vassell coming in to take tyres. Of course, he did not stop last time. And what about Matt Stratford? Well, Matt's rolling the dice. He's staying out yet again and choosing to, he must be happy because that's the second time he's stayed out. So is Darren McKenzie here, Ryan.
Yeah, him and Danny G are all staying out. So James will be the first one that's got 4 tires on. So James C. Foster will be the first one that has 4 tires on. So that'll be the man to watch. Right behind him, you have Roger Clark, who's in the 4th position. He will have 2 tires. He'll actually be starting fifth. But he has 2 tires on. And then everybody behind Roger Clark has 4 tires.
So how long do we expect these tyres on James's truck to last? Are they good for 3-4 laps?
They'll be faster than the guys in front of him the whole stint. So until Matt Stratford and the gang come down, he's going to be about a half a second faster than them.
Okay, so I'll definitely keep an eye on him. Bless you. So,
I thought I had a meter, my bad.
So it must be very early over there, Ryan, about 7 a.m. your time, I guess.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. on the dot now. And my allergies are kicking in, that's for sure.
Yeah. So once the pace car comes in, Darren McKenzie will have control of this field, and he's of course sponsored by Build Partners.
Yep, and we should have one more lap of pacing, and then we will go green.
Yeah, and we can expect bless you once again. Can expect the field now. They will start forming up into their 2 rows here, and we'll have Danny G in the 13 on the inside, Darren McKenzie on the outside, and he'll have control. Now, as far as NASCAR goes, is it always that the driver that has first position, does he always start on the inside, or can he choose?
In real NASCAR, you're able to choose. You can choose inside or outside, and then rows behind it is preferred line, which is always inside on ovals. Here on iRacing, we do not have that. I know some leagues do it. They do a choice between inside or outside for the first row, and then they have the competition clear to black flag. So I think that's something that iRacing might be doing, but I don't think it's very high on their list of things to do.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll look at that, and can see outside there's a car on the freeway, so they've got that working. But you might see if you can just turn your volume up just slightly there, Ryan, so I can hear you over all these trucks.
Oh, absolutely. Can do. Alrighty, so the pace car should be dropping down here. When it goes, as soon as the pace car goes down, Darren McKenzie will have full control over this lead. As you see, Matt Straffer try to get a pretty big run, and that's exactly what he does. We saw him slide back just a little bit, see if he can get a run. That didn't really work out for him. He'll still be way behind. He just did not get a good run. They'll be strung out for the first 5, 6, 7 positions. And then all the way back, you got 3 wide for Darren Bond and Craig Lawless to 3 wide also. Looks like they may have strung out and thought better of it.
See almost the 192 almost gone to the back of the 015 there. That's Nick Craddock. He's out wide here. He's got the 77 now on the inside. That's Darren O'Brien. It's interesting to see all the different lines they're taking here. The 192 is holding his own up high at the moment, and Darren O'Brien's following him. The 18 though, he went low here, Ryan, and he just did not have the speed.
Yeah, when you go low, especially through 1 and 2, you don't have that drive off, so you're able to get that high line. You can drive straight off the corner, and it makes it harder for the guy behind. As you'll see Darren O'Brien right in front of him. He hits that low line, 18. Oh, Daniel Vassell goes high, and also Daniel Vassell does have those new tires. It may not be a lap better, but he does have new tires. He didn't have the older tires before the stop happened, and that's what's happened. He's lost a lot of on-track position as he almost hit the wall there.
Yeah, we're riding on the suspension cam there, and we could see he was very, very high compared to the rest. So we jump into the gyro cam now, and you can just see him trying to get on the back of Darren, but he's just not getting off the corners.
Yep, and you'll see there's actually a battle starting to form for what seems to be third place between Darren McKenzie and Daniel Stevens. So those new tires have started to catch up. Daniel Stevens, he did stop. He's got the first position for the guys who have hit, or who got 4 tires that last stop. As you see him try to go low there on Darren McKenzie, it just will not work. Even though his tires are new, it just will not work on that bottom line. You do have to pass on the outside there. Yeah, but you can pass on the inside down through here.
Yeah, we can see Jake Blackhall, that's exactly what he's trying to do, and he's on the move. He was caught napping at the start, but he's coming back now. Edward Foster also back behind Daniel Stevens, thinking of trying to make a move as Daniel now goes on the inside of Darren McKenzie. Darren is now dropping like a stone. And Darren's on those old tyres, so I think what you were saying here, Ryan, it's starting to hurt him a bit.
Yep, so as the tires get further and further and further into your run, you will start to see more a difference between the newer and older tires, because it's just so hard to keep this truck planted, especially coming out of turn 2. It is almost impossible to keep the tires to have any kind of grip coming out of the corner. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys like Jake Blackhall and Daniel Stevens, see if they can catch our leader Danny G, who has absolutely flying of a lead of almost 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's checked out, hasn't he? But we can see now Edward Foster, he's just made a move on Darren McKenzie. Darren's on those old tyres, so Edward's up to 5th. Darren's not going to lie over though, he's coming back on the inside of him, but Edward should be able to get off the corner a lot better than he can. And now we can see James Foster having a go in the 14 DeWalt entry, and it looks like he's going to move up a position as well.
Yep, and it looks like Jake Blackhall is starting to make easy work of Matt Stratford. He just passes him very cleanly within 1 lap. Yeah, that was an easy pass for him. We'll see if Daniel Stevens can make it just as easy. Oh, we have huge trouble. Edward Foster has lost it coming out of turn 3. It looks like somebody may have tagged him also. Caution is out.
Yeah, let's jump back to the West End Mazda replay here, folks, and we'll have a look at exactly what happened to Edward here. Yeah, he's lost it pretty much coming off the corner, and I got nailed by the 14, the Walt entry, and absolutely hammered him. All the rest of the field avoided him though, but that was James Foster that absolutely nailed Edward Foster. Wonder if they're related.
That would be a funny story tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, it certainly would be. We can see them now all coming back in the pits. Danny G is leading them. Jake Blackhall following very closely behind. Then we've got Matt Stratford also with the WP concreting entry. He's had a bit of rear end action on that car.
Yeah, when you don't have any tires, these guys are pretty anxious to get moving, so they'll give you a nudge here and there. But as you can see, those no tire strategies definitely worked out in Matt Stratford's favor. So we see everybody starting to get into their pits.
Yeah, we're trying to
Matt Stratford, he started in the 17th position, and with that no tire call, everybody's come down now. He's now on the pit cycle with them. As we see, Jake Blackhall had a monster of a stop. He did get all 4 tires, but he got all 4 tires out, and he is back out onto the racetrack. Darren McKenzie will make up huge positions also, probably only taking 2 tires, along with Daniel Stevens, Darren Bond, and it looks like Matt Stratford may have had an issue on pit road, because he is still there.
Yeah, he definitely is. It doesn't look like they're doing anything. He did have a lot of rear end damage, and it looks like the pit crew have gone to work on that, but 55.7 seconds. So I have no idea what's happened to him. Now he's coming out. 62.4 seconds was his stop.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to get some of that damage fixed.
Yeah, so the pit crew would have gone to work on all that body work, trying to fix it up as best they can. But of course, they'd probably send him out to keep him on the same lap.
Yep. So he'll as soon as he catches back up to the pack, he'll go right back in, get some more work done, and then we'll go green. It looks like we just have 3 guys stay out in the form of Daniel Bassel, Phil Otto, and Steve Hoppett.
Yeah, and we saw Steve there having a lot of trouble with that car earlier until they've repaired it. We'll see how he goes. But what about Jake Blackhall? 13.6 seconds. He took 2 tyres, jumped Danny G, who opted for the 4.
At 13 seconds, it should be all 4 he would have taken there. That would have been all 4 tires. He just had a much better stop altogether. Everything about that stop was just faster. And Daniel may have slid the box, which means he would have trying to get into his pit stop, just lock down the brakes a little too hard. As these cars do run a lot of rear brake to get the truck to turn, it's going to be very hard getting into your pit box. So he may have just slid it just a little bit. You have to back it up just to get into a spot. I think that's where that time was gained up.
And also, the man that brought that pace car out, is Edward Foster. He's down in 13th position now, and he's starting on the outside of Nick Craddock.
Yep, so it looks like him and his maybe brother James Foster took their one fast repair, while Matt Stratford was doing the save it for later idea. But that has dropped Matt Stratford down into 16th position.
Yeah, quite a bit of work to do from there, but pace car will be coming in this time by, folks, and Daniel Vassell will have control of the field. Phil Otto sitting on the outside. Right behind him will be Steve Hoppett, and on the outside of him is Jake Blackhall.
There he goes. Actually, there's a little bit. He's waiting until the green flag.
Yeah, he certainly is. He was backing him right up, wasn't he? You can see 3 wide there. Steve Hoppett wanted to go. Look at the 77 coming through. That's Darren O'Brien. He's really aggressive.
Whew, that was not the cleanest of starts. He did not go until the green flag, and he waited some more. And that's absolutely not helped out Stephen Hoppett whatsoever.
Certainly hasn't. Steve Hoppett is all the way down in 11th, but one guy that did pounce, Jake Blackhall, takes the lead. Darren McKenzie second. Phil Otto, he's sitting in third now, coming under pressure from Danny G.
Yeah, and there's an absolute battle pack happening for what seems to be the 5th position. We've got O'Brien, Daniel Stevens. Oh, as we see O'Brien just cut off Daniel Vassell there. And then you also have Roger Clark and Darren Vaughn all in this little 5-car pile here. All just trying to get away from each other to make laps.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, Daniel Vassell gets real loose. What a save. What a save. Oh, no, there's he. Wow. They still touch each other. Oh, Daniel Vassell is down the wall, and that's going to bring out a caution.
Certainly is. We're riding there with the on his right hand fender there, and he was getting hammered big time. Let's jump back and have a look at the West End Mazda replay here and just see how it all unfolded. It pretty much happened when he got loose.
Yeah, he got a little loose coming off of turn 4. And then also you had what seems to be...
Oh, it was Mr. Foster getting into the side of Mr. Rogers there. That's what started it. And then Edward he had another go at him. Well, he didn't have a go. He just came across, probably lost his steering by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like after that incident with the 117 of Darren Vaughn, the truck just did not have any steering after that.
Yeah, and he went straight into the outside wall, parked it up on the wall there, and waited for the tow truck to get him home.
Yep. So everybody will get the tow, and unfortunately, that has ruined Daniel Vassell's car.
Yeah, and this is when they're going to really start suffering, as we can see now. Daniel Vassell coming in. And see if he's got any fast repairs. Edward Foster, I doubt, will have any left myself. He's in there now taking service. And the pit crew are going to be mighty busy getting that car back out tonight.
Yep, and James E. Foster will be the lucky dog recipient. So he was the first car lap down. So we'll see him get back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, so what do they do with that in this series? Does he get a wave by, or How does
Yep.
that exactly work?
So the first car lap down gets a wave around the pace car to get back onto the lead lap. It's called the Lucky Dog, and the way it sort of works is as soon as everybody goes into the pits is normally when they take it, that first pace lap around, normally when they take it, just to try to make it as safe as possible, because there's not going to be anybody on track normally during that pit cycle. So now that he has that lap around, he can go around, and if he wants to take a pit, he can take it now, and he will always start at the back end of the field.
Okay, so
Lap cars will be in front of him also.
Another car that's joined us tonight, folks, is Dave Douglas. He did not make the start of this race for various technical reasons, but true sport he is. He's jumped in 23 laps down, but he's out there having a crack. And it looks like we've had 2 retirements. Thomas Hinds has retired, and Jake Maloney looks like he has just retired his truck. So I'd say the crew chief there had a look at his car, shook his head and said, "No, we're done, boys."
Yeah. Sounds about right. That's normally what happens on some of these.
Yeah, well, I reckon we'll see a few more cars getting torn up around here before we're out. We're not even the halfway mark yet, and I think we're up to the 3rd pace car, maybe the 4th this evening.
So lights should be going out on the pace car. We'll have 1 lap to go green. And we'll see how the start happens this time around. Yep, lights are off.
Yeah, so Jake Blackwell will have control of the field. We'll see what he does. And I think this may be the first time he's had control. Maybe it's not. But we've got Darren McKenzie on the outside. At the moment, these two are being very competitive, but we'll see what Jake can do.
Yeah, these guys seem to be the fastest guys in the field, as they did qualify. Jake qualified 2nd place, and Jason Martin, who is currently down 1 lap down, he was the one who qualified on pole. So we'll see. Next caution, he'll get his lap back, and it'll be a fun one to watch throughout the rest of the night.
And Jake won round 1 last week, so he's looking at capitalising. And he's done a lot of oval track racing. In fact, this is where he started on iRacing, and then he went over to road racing. So no stranger to this style of racing. As we see now, pace car is in. Jake has gone.
Yep, he's bolted. He wanted nothing out of these guys, and he's going to try to absolutely take these guys apart. As he has strung out the field too, it looks like the first side-by-side is going to be Matt Stratford, who's moved his way up in 5th place after that little green flag run.
See now Nick Craddock there in the 192 on the inside of Craig Lawless as they nearly rub paint. It's just holding it on there. It's getting mighty close.
Yeah, just trying to get him up a little bit higher than he wants to be, just so he can get his preferred line and make the run happen. As you saw, that actually lost him more than just that one position. 2 more cars, the form of Roger Clark and Darren Lord, were able to run around him when that happened. It looks like he's going to get caught up here also with Phil Otto.
Yeah, and the 18 trying to go through the middle there, thread the needle. That was Daniel Vassell. Now he's moved the car on the inside. That car's working beautifully as he's making a move now on Darren Bond. Darren on the outside. Now Craig Lawless still cannot get momentum on that car as Daniel Vassell now pushes him out for another position.
Oh, there's close. Very, very close we had there with the 44 Craig Lawless. And it looks like James Foster is making a huge run he's going to have his chance at Craig Wallace now.
Yeah, and the 117 Darren Bond, he is boxed in at the moment. Now he's getting on the inside line and see if he can move. But tell you what, Craig Lawless, he is a sitting duck at the moment.
Yeah, it just seems like he just does not like that high line. You know, it's definitely the preferred line around here, but it looks like he just does not like having a car on the inside of him.
Yeah, he's just not getting any go off the corners, is he? The other guys are passing him like he's standing still, as now Craig's dropped down to 13th. That was, who was that? Phil Otto going past him. Now we can see Edward also starting to make a move.
Yeah, so that's just how oval racing goes. If you can't get into a rhythm and you don't get your preferred line, it is very hard. Oh, he's got more issues than that. He had a preferred line there, and he just could not get it turned. It looks like he's having more issues. So we'll learn more about that here shortly.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to be busy on the radio, hoping a yellow comes out soon so they can get that Caterpillar entry in and service, because he's got quite a lot of pain going on out there at the moment. Jake Blackhall, though, he does not. 1 second is the gap back to Danny G in second. Then we've got Darren McKenzie third, Daniel Stevens fourth, and then the pack is starting here. We've got Matt Stratford, Darren O'Brien having a great battle. Nick Craddock up high on the high line, and it's looking at the moment like the low line is the preferred line here.
Yep, so it looked like he just drove it in just a little too hard. As I was working with Nick yesterday in our hosted session we were having, trying to give him some tips and pointers on how to make it around here a little bit quicker. Looks like as Matt Stratford just got real loose right in front of him. That's going to allow Darren O'Brien to have the outside line. It looks like he's starting to pick it up a lot. He's really starting to pick his pace up. He's got some good speed in that truck tonight.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he's doing a fantastic job out there. Looking at from the gearbox of Darren O'Brien, or the rear bumper we should say, and you can see Matt Stratford there just trying to work the back there as he closes in. Now he's dropping off. Oh, he's got a good run off that corner.
Yeah, so he sacrificed that middle part of the corner to try to dive in and get a really good run out. It looks like it may have helped him out a lot. He'll try to make that pass eventually on Darren O'Brien, as he just did not. He lost it due to a small mistake, and I feel like he might be faster. So we look at some of the lap times here between them two. Looks like consistently he's about 2 to 3 tenths faster than Darren O'Brien, and you got to be a little bit faster now. As he tries to go to the outside, Darren just gave him a little bit of nudge as Nick behind him is flipping over in the grass. It does not bring out the caution since he is not on the racing surface.
Let's jump back to the West End Mazda replay and have a quick look at this. Might have to go back a bit further, I think. He's already halfway over by the time we got to there. Let's have a look at what exactly happened to Nick here. See, just ahead of him we saw Matt Stratford getting together there, and Nick just lost the rear end under acceleration there. Over he goes, but as you said, Ryan, the safety car or pace car does not come out because he wasn't on the surface.
Yep, and you'll start to see that more and more often here, as those guys will try to come off turn 2, and it's just absolute chaos trying to get this truck to go straight. It's actually a lot harder than you expect it to be, because this truck is set up more so for turns 3 and 4 than it is turns 1 and 2. So coming off turn 2, it's very loose, even on new tires. So when you get these older tires, or tires that have a little bit of wear into them, that truck just does not want to stay planted, and the rear end will come around on it.
Yeah, and what do they call that? Is that stagger that they work on?
That would be probably more of it's the general package, more a spring package. You would work on with that. Try to get the car planted more on the rear so. But you do have two completely separate corners that you're setting up for. So it's a mixture of compromise and whatever corner you want to optimize the most, whichever one you think is going to be better for you. So what a lot of guys do, they'll set the truck up for turns 1 and 2 so that they can make a pass in the 3 or 4. They might not be as fast in 3 and 4, but what they can do is they can set up the truck up and get the preferred line and take that preferred line away. As we see, Jake Blackhall has an absolutely massive lead right now of what seems to be 2.8 seconds. Actually, it has dropped over into a 3-second range now as they pass the start-finish line. So he has a 3-second lead over Danny G.
Yeah, it's quite a big lead, isn't it? And we can see now Matt Stratford here as he's getting off the corner, getting a good run here on Daniel Stevens up on the inside as they come into turn 3 and 4 here.
Yep, so Matt Stratford will have the lead. Ooh, we'll have the better line. It just looks like he went a little bit high on entry. He did not want to do that. And that's going to allow Daniel Stevens to hold on to that 5th position there. Matt Stratford still going to try on that inside line.
Yeah, and the 21, folks, that is not for position. That's Jason Martin, and he's down a lap. And, of course, he's working hard because he's trying to get his lap back. But not sure if he's going to be able to do that here tonight because the pace looks very high.
Yep, so he will need a lucky dog to make it happen. Even though we have only been green for 14 laps, he has ran through the field. So it'll be fun to see once he gets that lap back, see if he can't manage to drive through the field again. As it looks like Matt might have Daniel Stevens cleared. He does, and he will take away that 5th position away from Daniel Stevens, and James Martin will drive on through.
Yeah, you can see Jason in there on the inside now, and tell you what, they had very good mid-corner acceleration there just as Matt checked up, and thought they were going to rear-end him for a moment.
Yeah, it looks like Matt Stratford is having a little bit of a hard time on entry, which is compromising his the center of the corner. So it looks like he might be diving in just a little too hard, and the truck just isn't doing what he wants it to do. So if he can do what's called backing the corner up, letting off the gas sooner, getting on the brakes sooner, as we see 77 truck of Darren O'Brien, he will hit the pit road under green flag conditions.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone else comes in as well, or if he's got some issue out there. I guess it's quite a gamble, isn't it, being the first to come in under green, and it's playing big stakes there. But at the moment, Danny G has 3.1 seconds to close on Jake Blackhall, who's coming through to tick off one more lap. We've got 39 laps remaining here at Gateway Motorsport Park.
Yep, and this move by Darren O'Brien might help him out just a little bit. He will be a lap down now after that, but he might have scored himself a couple of positions if those guys stay out just a little bit longer. These tires do have a huge drop off. Go back to Jake Blackhall and his numbers. He started out with a 34 flat, and now he's barely getting down into a 34.7. So he's got about 7/10 drop off over when he started this. So whoever Darren was racing with before the green flag dropped, he should have about 7/10 of a second faster than whoever else is on track. So he should be the fastest one on the track.
And you can see him there just behind Edward now. Edward's making a move on the inside. Who was that? Who's he playing on there? The 18, and that is
Daniel Vassell.
Yeah.
You'll see the 77 of Darren O'Brien make quick work of just about everybody he comes up on. Now, also, with that lucky dog we were talking about earlier, it's actually put Darren O'Brien in a very bad position, as he will be the second car a lap down. So he'll actually have to catch Jason Martin, who is coming out of turn 4 as Darren O'Brien is going into turn 3.
Yeah, so that gap is 8.9 seconds from Jason Martin back to Darren O'Brien here, who's trying to get that lucky dog. But it looks like Steve Hoppett now has just gone down a lap, so he's the first car on a lap down here.
Yep, so Jason Martin is going to be eyeing down that 81 of Steve Hoppett, about the same 10-second gap between both of them.
And he last lap by, he picked up 2.6 seconds on Hoppett, and Darren O'Brien's last lap was 34.8, so Jason Martin is the quickest as far as the lapped down cars go. But I'll tell you what, they're spreading out a lot. The first of the battlers here is Daniel Stevens, Roger Clark, and then we've got James Foster with a bit of a gap over Darren Bond. But yeah, so they're well spread out now, aren't they?
Yep, and you'll see these guys they're just trying to get to the end. They're trying to get to the end of the race. And there might probably be another yellow as we see Jason Martin making his way, trying to catch these guys. Darren McKenzie is trying to deal with the lap down traffic of the crowd. But these guys are probably just trying to make it, a couple of green flag laps, see if they can't make something happen. Because you can definitely, on these older tires, you have more control over your finishing position than the truck does. There's a lot more driver skill on these older tires. As we see the 18, the car number 10 of Dave Douglas, him and Darren O'Brien and James Foster, there we go, iRacing, they're so close that it's very hard. Oh, James Foster is on the high line, and they're about to go 3 wide as Darren O'Brien shoots down and makes the pass on him.
And one car that is making these old tyres work is the number 1, Phil Otto. He's just got another position up, and that was Darren Lord behind him. He's made about 2 positions in the last couple of laps. As we can see now, Darren Lord coming back on the inside of him.
Yeah, so it looks like Dave Douglas might have just taken his... Dave Douglas is faster than the James Foster truck, who is on the lead lap. So Dave Douglas, the guy who just joined us, he is about 23 laps down, but he's showing pace. He's showing very good pace.
Certainly is. It was a real shame he had that technical issue before the start of the race, because it would have been interesting to see what he'd be like if he was up there with the rest of them.
Yep, so it looks like Jason Martin just made his way around Steve Hoppett, so Jason Martin will have the lucky dog in case yellow comes out.
And Darren O'Brien at the moment on those fresh tyres, he's lapping, he's 1/10 slower than Jason Martin here, and he's a good 1.6 seconds quicker than Hoppett at the moment.
Yeah, so he'll definitely make up the positions, but now as we see Craig Wallace get lapped by Jake Blackhall, as Jake Blackhall is absolutely dominating here tonight. 3.5 seconds separate him and Danny G. Then another 7 seconds back to Darren McKenzie. So they have the field covered by a lot here.
see now Darren Lord on the inside of Phil Otto as they go side by side into turn 1 here. And I tell you what, Otto's got that car hooked up, but once again Lord on the inside, Otto on the high line. What's going to happen here? Well, Otto seems to be making that high line work at the moment.
Yep, so between 1 and 2 he has the preferred line, but then 3 and 4 come around, he will get taken over by the 0-15 of Darren Lord. But it looks like they're giving each other plenty of room, even though there's only just a few laps remaining left in this race. You have 28 laps to go. And if I were one of them, I'd definitely try to start to turn faster laps than the other and start trying to get away from the other one, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, this battle, because Otto loves that high line, and Lord's trying to go in on the inside of him. He just does not have that traction on the inside at the moment, and Otto's just holding him out. And we can see now Vassal also coming to join the fray.
Yep, so what it looks like Phil Otto is doing is he's trying to stay out of the main line as he goes into the main line there. But it looks like through 3 and 4 he's trying to stay off that inside line, try to get some cooler track, some better grip, as it's sort of like dirt racing oval racing is, where the line will change throughout the run. So it looks like he's just trying to find a little more grip. As we see James Foster come into the pits from position 6, so it'll be interesting to see when he comes out where he'll pop out onto the track.
Yeah, so this will be the first lot of true green flag pit stops, I'd say, for all the rest start coming in. Now, it must be such a interesting feeling when you come in, but I guess at that point the crew chief's pretty much just telling you to bring it in. Yep,
so we'll see that Jake Blackhall currently has a 1 second drop off in his tires. So you'll see these guys start to have about the same, maybe a little bit more on theirs.
See once again Lord trying to make that inside line work. He's got a better run off on Otto now as they come in. Let's see if he can make this work. 3 wide as the 14 has just come out. That's a DeWalt entry.
Yep, so he's made that work, and then you'll see the new tires of James Foster absolutely take over, and he will be about a second, maybe a little bit quicker more than what he was just a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, you can see it. He's picking the line. Any line at the moment's going to work, and I guess this is the sweet spot, isn't it? When they get brand new tyres, they feel like they're in a Ferrari racing VW Beetles, but I guess the trick is not to overcook these tyres too quickly.
Yep, so you'll have 28 laps remaining, and that's about how long we've been under green flag. Actually, we've been on green flag for about 30 laps, so this is about a good point to start seeing people come into the pits.
Yeah, Otto's in now in the number 1. He's decided it's time. And at the moment, if we look, we've got Jake Blackhall still out there. He's stretched it to 4 seconds. Then Danny G second. Matt Stratford, he's staying out at the moment in third. Daniel Stevens now brings his entry in the 66 to also take service.
Yep, so it's the winding circle as Steve Hoppett decides to take his pit also. It's just a little Ferris. Oh, huge spin. Matt Stratford has spun around, and this is going to help out those who just pitted a lot. They might be a lap down, but they'll be able to get their lap back, and they're going to be on fresh tires.
And we'll go back and have a look at the West End Mazda replay here. Just see exactly what happened. He had the 75 right behind him. Did he give him a serve? Let's come and have a look. Oh yeah, he did. Bit of netcode going on there, and now into the outside wall he goes.
Yep, and Darren had just pitted, so his tires were brand new.
Yes, I can see at the moment Jake Blackhall, well, his lead's going to evaporate. They're going to have to come in, aren't they, Danny G, and that to take service under this yellow, as we now see Danny G coming in. And the number one, of course, Phil Otto, he's staying out because he's just taken service. And as you said, he's going to benefit a lot from this.
Yep, so we'll see one of the drivers will get the wave around here shortly. We have Jake Blackhall on pit road. Steve Martin will get his lap back. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Danny G's also coming down. Matt Stratford and Darren Bond are the four currently on pit road. A pretty big gap between all of them.
See now Jake taking tyres, and who's that coming out now? The number 4, that's Clark, and he's jumped all of them by the looks of it. That's Norman Clark, had a fantastic stop. Jake Blackhall comes out. Where's Danny G? Coming out now in the 13.
Yeah, so Darren Lord, Daniel Vassell, and Norman Clark seem to jump Jake Blackhall and Danny G by a lot, so I'm not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, Norman stopped 15.1 seconds. Daniels was 15.8, 14.2. I think he was in there before them. That's probably what it is. But I tell you what, Norman absolutely loves his truck racing.
Oh, there's oh, Lord.
What's going on?
The number 10 may have spun the number 77 coming into the pit lane.
Looks like Norman was bringing his car in. We're just having a look at this West End Mazda replay here, folks, just to see what happened as they came in. We've got the 77 in front of the 10, and he's got right into the side of him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got in there.
That's a bit like, excuse me, I'm coming through.
Yeah. So yeah, Norman Clark and Phil Otto did not win out on this one, as they'll stay a lap down. Or no, Phil Otto will get his lap back, but it looks like Norman Clark did not win out.
Yes.
He'll be the loser on all this.
So I'm just trying to get the field here. It's all a bit muddled up here. We've got Jake Blackhall as the leader, Danny G second. We've got a couple of cars ahead of them. That's Vassell ahead of them, and yeah, it's all mixed up. We'll have to wait for them to come through.
Yep. So with what's going to happen is with one to go, once the lights go out on the pace car, you'll see the guys in front of Jake Blackhall. They will all go and pass the pace car and get around to the backside, as we start to see that happen now. Yes. All of these guys will need to pass the pace car, and they'll go all the way around.
Yes, I guess now they floor it, don't they? Because they've got to try to minimise that gap. Hoppert got one lap back. He's still a lap down. Otto is back on the lead lap, sitting in 15th. So looking at our top 10 at the moment, folks, we have Blackhall leading, Danny G in second, Matt Stratford third, Bond's up to third, fourth Matt Stratford, fifth Jason Martin, Darren McKenzie in sixth, Stevens in seventh, Roger Clark eighth, ninth Foster, and rounding out your top 10 is Darren Lord.
Yep, so it looks like we're about to go green here. As some of those guys who are trying to get this wave around, they'll just catch up to the back end of this as the pace car comes into pit road. And Jake Blackhall is gone.
Yeah, he put the foot down, didn't he? Danny G could see it happening and he stuck with him this time. But Bond also had a great start as he looked on the inside of Stratford. Stratford getting loose on the high side there, and he's sort of boxed in Martin here. Martin, of course, is back on the lead lap and making inroads.
Yep, so our pole sitter is now back onto the lead lap. He sits 5th place. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can't catch the number 97 of Jake Blackhall, because it seems as if nobody can even get close to that rear spoiler of his.
Yeah, and this is what happened last round as well. Blackhall got out there and he pretty much cleared out and left the other guys scrapping for the minor positions here, but Danny G's holding on to him this time. He's not going to let him get away, and Stratford, well, he's got his mirrors full of Martin right behind him.
Yeah, it seems like that. It seems Jason Martin, see how much he gains this lap. He gains a lot, and the time sheet won't even matter as he is right there. He's less than a tenth, so he gained almost 2 tenths just in that lap alone. We'll see how James decides to deal with Matt Stratford, as he is quicker than him.
Yeah, he was looking high, now he's looking low. What's he going to do this time? He's searching low to see if he can make this one work, and that didn't work as Matt just comes down across his nose.
Yep, so they'll stay line of stern. It seems that, Matt Stratford just went a little high, and that's going to give James a little bit of a chance to get some of that meterage back from him.
Yeah, meanwhile,
trying to make that.
Sorry, mate, go.
Yeah, he's just trying to make some of that space between his front bumper and the rear bumper just a lot smaller. It seems like his quest to get past Matt Stratford is going to be a hard one.
Yeah, you can see him searching, can't you? He's searching high, searching low. Again, on the inside. What's Stratford going to do? Is he going to get a run? Looks like he might have him this time.
Yeah, it looks like he may have gotten the run that he was looking for, James Martin. He has now got the inside line. If he can hold it down there at the bottom, he will be good. And it looks like Matt just gave it up. He knew that he was going to get eaten up and just wants to make the better of it. As it looks like James Martin actually did not have the exit he wanted, and that's going to leave him on the outside here through turns 1 and 2, as Matt Stratford cleared a lot of places. We're back to where we were just 2 laps ago.
Yeah, Martin actually caught the wall on the exit there and he lost all momentum, and Matt pounced, absolutely pounced on him. And up front though, Jake Blackhall and Danny G are still going at it. Danny's hanging on to him, and looks like he might have just collected the wall too on exit. But here comes Martin on the inside of Stratford once again.
Yep, so with only 10 laps remaining in this race, we see the battle for third really heating up. So we see James Martin still try to attempt to just get past him and maybe not hit the wall this time around to keep that third position.
Here he goes, he's going to have another look on the inside here, try to get an overlap. He's not close enough yet, tucks back in. Let's just see Martin there working the low line there, trying to make it work, but at the moment it just is not working for him as they come past the 192, and that is Mick Craddock. He is now 21 laps down.
Battle for 8th place is starting to heat up between James Foster and Roger Clark as they go side by side through turn 3. Roger Clark's just trying to hang it out there on the outside. It looks like that's not going to work. That's going to allow James Foster just to pull away just enough. I think he may have grabbed that 8th position for the night.
Yeah, so we've still got 11 cars on the lead lap, folks. Daniel Vassell is the last one on the lead lap, 18.8 seconds down from the leader, with 8 laps remaining here at Gateway Motorsport Park.
James Martin is still trying to get to the inside portion of that 41 WPC concreting car. WPC truck.
You can see him now trying to work the high line, searching. Matt's sticking to the low line there, and at the moment, as he hits the wall, that's going to allow Martin through. Exactly what Martin did about 3 laps ago, and now it's his turn to pounce on Stratford.
Yep, and as you saw, Stratford drove him all the way down to the inside wall, and that's going to leave James Martin there on the inside. He will not have the pace on that inside line, as you just get way too loose. If you're on the inside line all the way around, you're just going to be way too loose to make a pass going into turn 3 and 4. You see them come back around. James Martin is right on the rear bumper of Matt Stratford, and they will stay side by side. See if he can't stay there, and he will not. Ooh, very close these guys are racing.
Yeah, they certainly are, and meanwhile up front, folks, Jake Blackhall has cleared out once again, 1.1 seconds over Danny G, and then these guys now are 3 seconds down from the lead, but they're battling for the last step of the podium.
Yeah, it seems to be the rest of the field has strung out, and this is the battle for third, and it's starting to heat up. There is only 4 laps remaining in this race. See if James Martin can't make something of it. He made something of it earlier and tapped the wall from off 4. Let's see if he can't bring it around and finish in the 3rd place after starting on pole. Matt Stratford did not even put a time in, and as James Martin goes to the inside, he will stay right there on the door of Matt Stratford. And Matt Stratford will have a better run out of turn 3. It's going to allow him to stay ahead. But when will James Martin get around? Will he have enough laps to make it happen? We are 3 laps remaining. 2.5 laps now for these guys here watching. As Matt Stratford just pulls away just enough from the 21 of James Martin, as he it's a little slow through the middle of the corner, but he is looking for exit speed. He does not want James Martin on him at all.
No, and he's looking pretty taily in mid-corner there. That's Matt Stratford, and Martin no doubt can see that, but at the moment he's searching high this time, still not making it happen, and the time is running out here as we're coming down to the final lap.
Yeah, so James Martin has just 1 lap to make his move. Will he make it? And if so, where will it happen? He tries to go high to get the run coming out of turn 4. Matt Stratford runs him down into the inside wall. That's going to give James Martin the inside. Can he dive it in there and hope for the best? Oh, they get real close. As Matt Stratford making that car just as wide, and he gets real loose coming off turn 3, turn 2. And they are side by side, really close to each other. Matt Stratford tries to pin him down. James Martin runs it way into the corner, and he will actually make the final lap pass, as Jake Blackhall will win this race. Danny G second, and Jason Martin just pulls out with a final corner pass for 3rd position.
We'll jump back and have a look at that, folks, because we're jumping up there having a look at Blackhall. So let's have a look at exactly how Martin made that move. See, jumping back here, he's just working that inside line there, as you're calling it, Ryan. Yeah,
so as you can see, Matt Stratford tried to make the most of it. He tried to make his truck as wide as he could, but he got loose coming off turn 2, and that's where he lost the race. When he got loose off of turn 2, he just was not able to get the preferred line going through 3 and 4, which allowed James Martin to get around him.
Yeah, and Martin tried to see if he could make that car drift. As we can see now, Blackhall out there taking the checkered flag and celebrating in style, collecting the inside wall and gassing up the ERT entry.
Yep, so well-deserved win by Jake Blackhall. He made sure to win this race. That was a good win by him. That will see him do very, very well in the points, as he will go 2 for 2, undefeated in the ANZCAR series.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, he absolutely loves his NASCAR trucks, and I expect we'll see more of him doing it. But that's pretty much where Blackhall started, was in NASCAR before he went over to road racing. We can see now Stratford just coming across the start-finish line. He's probably having a close look at it, wondering where it went wrong for him tonight.
Yeah, like I said, James Martin was faster in every sense of the way, but Matt Stratford made that truck as wide as he could make it. If he couldn't make it wide, he'd make it hard. And that's what he did. He made the pass very, very hard to make, but he made one very small mistake, like something off turn 2. He got the truck just a little loose. Jason Martin pounced, and it was the end.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this style of racing, isn't it? It's momentum racing. Just make a slight mistake, and it costs you very dearly.
Yeah, it cost Matt Stratford a chance at a 3rd place after starting in the 17th position.
Yeah, and we're seeing Vassal there smoking it up in the pits, probably letting out a bit of steam. But let's have a look at the final race positions here, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver finished tonight, and we'll also find out who the biggest mover and the shaker was tonight. So Jake Blackhall takes round 2 once again in the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder. Danny G comes home in 2nd. Jason Martin just takes Matt Stratford there for 3rd. Matt Stratford, though, he was up 13 positions from where he started to come home 4th. Darren Bond up 16 positions to come home in 5th. Darren McKenzie in 6th. 7th was Daniel Stevens. James Foster in 8th. Roger Clark 9th. Darren Lord 10th. Daniel Vassal, he comes home in 11th. And 12th was Norman Clark. Home in 13th was Phil Otto, down 6 positions. Then we had Craig Lawless come home in 14th with Steve Hoppett behind him in 15th. Edward Foster down 13 positions, and he looks like he's going to be the biggest shaker tonight. And then we had Darren O'Brien in 17th, Nick Craddock 18th, Dave Douglas 19th, Jake Maloney 20th, and 21st was Thomas Hines. So the biggest mover tonight, well, that's Matt Stratford, and the biggest shaker was Ed Foster.
Yeah, it just seemed like Edward just could not keep it together. It just seemed like he'd get up to a good position and then have something happen to him. We saw that earlier crash with his maybe brother in that number 17 truck of was it James Foster in the 14 truck? My bad. They had an earlier collision very early in the race, and that seemed to snowball the rest of his race.
Yeah, and I made a mistake, folks. Darren Bond was the fastest mover tonight, up 16 positions to come home. And where did he come home?
Came home
5th
position after starting 21st. So he started dead last and finished 5th. So good job to Darren Bond. Very good job.
Yeah, I reckon it's good driving. Let's bring up our race winner, though. That's Jake Blackhall, and we'll have a bit of a chat with him. Hi Jake, welcome to RRTV Combox once again. Congratulations, another win in the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder. I'll just unmute him. There you go.
Hey, we're good.
Yeah, I had you muted, mate. I thought you were a bit quiet. Yeah, another good race out there tonight, and it looked like you're getting quite a bit of a gap working once again after the pace car came in.
Yeah, it was an interesting race actually from the word go. I had an issue with my steering wheel and pedals that I didn't pick up till 3 and 4, so I sort of bogged the start, and the quick early caution actually helped me. Was able to come down, fix that issue, then go back out, and had to work my way from the back of the field. I haven't done that in a while, and it was a good race. And yeah, long green flag run. That was awesome to have that, and definitely spiced it up a little bit. I was looking to just bit before that final caution came out, but it came out, and I was lucky not to come down. I think I was 1 or 2 laps away from going to come down pit lane, but that caution came out and saved that sort of a hassle, pitted under caution, and then just tried to drive away. Daniel did a great job in second. It was an awesome battle there on that final restart.
Yeah, it certainly was. He wasn't keen to let you get a huge gap once again. You did manage to stretch it out 1.8 seconds, but yeah, Daniel was he was giving you a good run there for a bit. But I'm going to hand you over to Ryan, and he might have a few more questions for you.
Yeah, man, it looked like through that long stint we had towards the end of the race, it seemed like you just had the pace on the car. Tell us how did the car feel, or how did the truck feel as soon as it started to go away, especially after about 30 laps of green flag racing? Yeah,
well, the truck it just lost a lot of grip, especially around here. You maybe lock a left front or lock a right front, you burn up that tire, depending on how hard you are on the brakes. And definitely going through 1 and 2, you could definitely feel it, especially obviously more banking through there. 3 and 4 actually wasn't too bad. I was able to keep a consistent pace, but as the run went on, the truck started to want to wash out. And just trying to stretch that fuel load as well. I knew if we could stretch it out to pretty much the end of the fuel load, it was going to be good. But just trying to be consistent, trying to not ruin that right rear tire as always, and just trying to just manage it as best as I could. And it managed to work out. And as soon as I saw that the gap was around 3 seconds, I sort of wanted to keep it steady at that and just keep a consistent pace in it.
Yeah, it seemed to so, because it seemed you're about 2 to 3 seconds faster, and then as soon as you got to 3 seconds, you just kind of chilled out. And did you try to find different lines throughout the race, or did you just kind of stick to one line and just hope that one didn't get burnt out?
There was a couple of times where I actually looked around, searched to 1 or 2 laps, searched for a different line, but nothing else really looked like no one else was running a different line. So just sort of stuck to what it was and just managed the gap. That was the best I could do really at that present point. I could have went and searched and tried to find a little bit more pace, but at that point I just wanted to keep it under me until the pit stop cycle, which obviously didn't come because of the caution.
Right on. Well, congrats on your win. You stay undefeated in the ANZCAR series, so we'll see you next week and hope for the best.
Thank you. I don't think it'll stay undefeated, but it's a great series, and it's awesome to be a part of. And before I go, I better shout out the sponsors, and obviously the team, Evolution Racing Team, Logitech G, GTI, and ANZCAR Racing, Joel Real Timing, as well, for all their help this season.
Yeah, fantastic, Jake. And when will we see you in another coverage? You're joining us tomorrow night in AOSC?
I thought about it. If I can get a lot more of my uni work done, then I definitely will. We have a massive assignment due on Monday, so this is not something I should be doing right now, is iRacing. But if I can get a lot of my uni stuff done, I might come back and join in the AOSC, because it's got my Friday nights all clear. So it'd be good to come back and drive in the V8 again.
Yeah, it'd be good to have you back there. And it's a 150 tomorrow night, so not one of those really long enduros. So anyway, go and do your homework, young man.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
So, folks, that was Jake Blackhall, our winner tonight, and he drives for Evolution Racing Team. We've got Daniel in the green room. We might bring him in. Ryan, did you want to have a chat with him?
Yeah, bring in everybody. Let's talk.
He's in.
What's going on, Danny G?
you there?
Seems to be having some mic issues as we are picking him up, but we are not getting anything from him.
Just having a look. He's not muted. I'll turn up his volume. No.
There seems to be an issue on his end. So
Yeah, we might let him go and try to sort that out, and we'll go to our next interview, and then we'll see if we can come back to him. So we've got quite a few down there. I'm just having a look. The next person we've got Nick Craddock, Roger. I'm just trying to see. Roger came home in 9th, so we might bring Roger in and have a chat with him.
Yep.
To the end.
Hey Roger, welcome to RRTV Combox, mate. We thought we'd drag you up here because Daniel's having some trouble. Not that you're like the second choice, but you know. How did
No, that's all right.
How'd your race go tonight? We saw you down there in 9th, and it looked like you're having quite a hard time of it tonight.
Oh, sort of been having a bit of a long week with bits and pieces here at home and stuff like that, so I haven't really been able to put in the amount of practice I wanted to put into that. So sort of been struggling a little bit with the track. So yeah, just pretty much just trying to run laps, sort of start scoring points. I mean, we are early on in the season, so it's a long way to go, and points are points whether you're first or 10th or 9th.
Mm.
Yeah, it looked like you're having a few bit of issues, but overall, I mean, it was a pretty good race. You gained 3 positions of where you started. It seemed to be during some of those short runs, you would either gain a couple of spots or you would lose a couple of spots. Was that just where you were starting and who you're around, or was that more or less just trying to get into a rhythm and you got into a rhythm quicker, not as all?
I think sort of early on it was trying to get into the rhythm, and then we had that first pit stop that I did. I only took 2 tyres, which sort of jumped me a long way up up the list, and sort of I started dropping back a bit, obviously not having the full amount of grip that like some of the other guys who would have gone on the 4 tyres would have had, and so sort of slipped back a few spots there, but then as we got into that real long green flag run, sort of found a rhythm and just stuck with it, and did some passing, and then got to a point where I realised I was going to be about 4 laps short, 4 laps gas short of the end, and started trying to back out of it a little bit, trying to conserve a bit of fuel, and then I actually put it in about 2 laps before that last caution came out, which sort of paid to my plan, but that's racing.
Yeah, as it normally goes in this the NASCAR series, it pays to be lucky. That's for sure.
Oh, it sure does. Sure does.
Yeah, fantastic, Roger. We better let you go. We've got we've lost Danny G. He's disappeared, but we've got Edward and Nick. But did you want to give a shout out to all your sponsors before we let you out?
Yeah, big thanks to Wayne Pengilly, the team at MFR, Western Mazda, the paint scheme obviously a little bit different. Cheers to Darren O'Brien, Danny Vassell. Cheers to you guys also for putting on the broadcast and everything like that. We really appreciate it, and just a quick shout out to the wife who's not doing so well with her morning sickness and everything, sort of putting up with me doing the racing and all that. Yeah, so cheers guys.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we'll see you back next week, Roger.
Oh, yeah, absolutely will.
Yep, awesome. I look forward to it. All right, until then, mate, we'll let you go.
Cheers, mate. You guys have a good one.
So, yeah, Roger came home 9th position, up 3, as you said there, Ryan. We've got Daniel back in the green room. We might see if he's working yet. If not, we'll go to Edward.
And 4.
Hi, Daniel. Can you hear us now, mate?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, congratulations, second position. After that restart, you're definitely taking it to Jake there, but it just looked like you didn't quite have the pace to hang on to him.
No, I just couldn't catch him off turn 4. I think he was a little bit higher than me, and I really hadn't run that line. So I was close for the first 5 laps. I could have given him a good pump in the middle of turn 1 and 2, but I thought better of it, and I stuck with him, but I just couldn't get off 4.
Yeah, and then he slowly pulled that gap. But I guess in the back of your mind on that restart was you weren't going to let him get back out like 3.8 seconds or whatever it was the previous green run.
No, I definitely tried to hold that back. I thought I could sort of keep with him there for a while. Even when he was out 4 seconds, he wasn't getting away, and I wasn't sure if he was playing games with me or not because I was looking at the fuel, and there could have been some strategy of people not pitting. I was only going to be 12 laps short, so it could have been interesting.
Yeah, so I guess at that point in the race, you were probably hoping for a yellow to come out, so you could pit in under pace car.
Yes, definitely. Treacherous actually trying to get down there in speed, or with speed.
Yeah, we saw a few of them do it, and but anyway, the pace car came out. Just going to hand you over to Ryan and see what sort of questions he's got for you.
Yeah, so you're mentioning the line coming out of 4. When you were practicing and when you went to the race, you said that was a line that you had done. Did you try to eventually go up to that higher line, especially through that long green flag run?
Not really. Like before the race, I was listening to people. I think they were practicing last night, and I think actually I listened to you, and you said you'd come you want to be at the bottom just at the very end. But I just couldn't seem to be able to hold it up the top, and I'd always like wash out to the wall. So I just kept doing what I was doing because I knew I had a top 5 car or truck, and I just thought I'm just going to keep this in one piece and hopefully come over the top 5.
Yeah, and it seemed also, during that long green flag run, were you able to keep the truck underneath you, not have too many dramas with the rear end wanting to step out or the front end just not wanting to cooperate with you?
No, I had nothing. It felt really good. It was just awesome actually.
Yeah, normally once you get some wear on the tires, especially in the NASCAR series, the truck just does not want to do what you want it to do.
Yeah, no. When I was out there front there for a little bit, it felt really good, and I was pulling away. And I thought, if this happens, if it keeps like this, I might have a shot. But I knew they'd all catch back up to us.
Right on. Well, congrats on your second place. You fared better than some of the other guys, and you take the points when you can. That's for sure.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
As always, Daniel, before you go, mate, have you got any sponsors or people you need to give a shout out to tonight?
The folks over at Advanced PC and Simulations this time, and Capital Cards, and the Fago on the car. She's always good fun. That's about it.
Fantastic. Well, of course, we'll catch up with you next week for the next round of ANZCAR, and we'll see if you can take it to Mr. Blackhall.
Yeah, too easy, fellas. Thank you.
All right, see you, mate. So our next interview, folks, is Edward Foster. Edward came home 3 laps down in 15th place, so he had a bit of a drama there tonight, I think, Ryan.
Yeah, he started out 3rd place, and after that wreck with his maybe brother there and James Foster, it just seemed to snowball the rest of the race. He just couldn't get back up front in clean air. It just happened, just a snowball from there. So we have bringing Edward Foster here, number 53, our TV truck. Edward, what happened? Started 3rd and finished 16th, 3 laps down.
Well, let's see. My connection died right before qualifying started. When I came back in, my force feedback wasn't working, and I had massive controller lag. And my mic also decided to quit just into the bargain. So that was interesting, to say the least. And those, sort of despite that, it sort of cleared up towards the end of qualifying as far as the controller lag went, the wheel lag. So managed to bang in a decent lap. But yeah, I still had no force feedback throughout the race. Was still going okay. Then just came off the turn a bit hard, couldn't feel it, and spun. Took out a couple of others, unfortunately, at the time. And then after that, trying to bring my way back through, was sort of on the outside of Roger Clark. There was another car on the outside that seemed to be having a moment all of its own. He's kind of bounced off the wall. I've turned to avoid him. Gone into the side of Roger. Didn't touch him that hard, but it still managed to break my steering. The fact I could not steer at all. Then went back to the pits and came out a couple of laps down. So pretty frustrating all in all.
Well, sometimes you do have some of those races. Luckily, this is a long season, and you can make up the points that you lost here. Especially if you run a third place time with no force feedback. Well, the pros don't run any force feedback, but if you're not used to it, it is very, very odd to feel. But if you're doing that with not very good equipment, I'm sure we'll see you do very well at some of the other tracks when you do have all your equipment working up to par.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating because nothing goes wrong all week and then it all goes wrong tonight. So anyway, on to the next one, I suppose. And second race in a row where I qualified. Been quite quick and finished 16th. So I'm getting kind of bored with this now. I'll take 15th next week. At least that'll be an improvement.
10-4.
Yeah, fantastic, Edward. My question to you is, are you related to James Foster?
Yes. He, as the younger sibling, considers himself to be the new and improved 2.0 version, whereas I consider myself to be the original and still the best.
So we're calling him your maybe brother all night.
Yeah, and he came home in 8th.
Well, yeah, that's 2 times the positions better, so 2.0, he might have something there for you.
Yeah, it sounds like Edward's lost for words there, so we should let him go.
Every word that came to mind was a curse word, so I didn't think of you as
No worries, mate. Well, you better go and see your baby brother. I'm sure he's got some bragging rights over you tonight, mate.
Oh, he's already been on the phone, mate. Don't worry.
Fantastic. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. Thanks.
So there you go. Foster 2.0. So, Ryan, what did you think of tonight's racing as far as the ANZCAR boys went and their go at NASCAR?
It was actually a lot better than I was expecting, to be quite honest. We had some issues there in the beginning, but overall, the racing, especially in the top 10, was very, very good. You had guys who knew that they needed to change their line to make the corner work, and with oval racing, you can definitely make different lines work around you. Most of the time in road racing, it ends up being just one single line, and you have to be faster than the guy in front of you. Here in oval racing, you can be a little bit more creative, a little bit faster than the guy in front of you, but it's very hard to pass, so you just have to get creative with how you do your lines. And watching some of these guys take the different lines really made some pretty interesting racing.
Yeah, you could definitely see them searching, couldn't you? Try and, especially Jason Martin there, who's trying the high line, the low line, trying to work out where he could get Matt, and it was great viewing, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was there towards the end was a very, very good finish for the third place. It did get a little strung out there, but I think that's what Jake wanted when he restarted very, very early. He just did not want any dramas with Danny G. He wanted to get away from him as fast as possible because he knew that if he let him even have a sniff at the first place, that he would pounce.
Yeah, exactly right, and Danny was definitely trying to do that, so they had some good racing there towards the end as well, and Yeah, so a lot of action tonight. It didn't disappoint, and a lot of great racing. So yeah, I think the guys are doing a great job out there, and hopefully it's going to get even better as the laps start. The miles start ticking off, and these boys get into the swing of things.
Yeah, as you get more comfortable driving on ovals, you can kind of take what you learn from one track and apply it to another. So, like here at Gateway, things that you would learn at somewhere like New Hampshire would apply really well to turns 3 and 4. So, I'm not sure if we go to New Hampshire in this series, but if you do, what you learned here tonight will definitely transfer over there for sure. And then 1 and 2. It's more of a short track, kind of a corner, so not really going to learn anything from it too much. But you can take what you learn from a short track and apply it to this.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'd like to thank you personally as well for joining me tonight, our time. Not sure what time it is over there, probably about 8:30 a.m. Your time?
Yep, 8:30 in the morning.
So I should let you go and have some breakfast and do what you need to do for the day. I'm going to go to bed soon.
Well, I'm going to bed soon also. I gotta go to sleep. I've got a night shift working, so.
Okay.
There you go. Take the full on nap. Yeah, that was me in the beginning. It was late because I was trying to get a little quick nap in just to kind of refresh myself, and the alarm didn't go off. So, I was able to make the race, though.
Yeah, it was good to have you here. I knew your alarm didn't go off. I just knew it. So, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I just took a little hour-long little nap, so.
Yeah, no worries. No, it's great having you in the comm box, and I guess we'll have you back here again in a fortnight's time, depending how your work arrangements and everything else shape up. But it'll be definitely great to have you back here, that's for sure.
Yeah, we 2 weeks from now. So wherever you're at from 2 weeks from now, I don't have a schedule in front of me, so we'll be able to join you then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to go back to the schedule and have a look myself. But until then, mate, I'm going to let you go and have a snooze. And I'd like to also thank all the viewers out there that joined us, whether it was on our YouTube channel, there's a few there, or through iRacing Live. We hope you enjoyed the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder series tonight. And of course, tomorrow night we've got the Australian Online Supercar Championships, and you can check your local guides on iRacing Live for what time that will be in your time zone. And then of course Saturday night we've got a double header coming up your way. We've got the World's Fastest Gamer Qualifiers Australian split coming to you 8 p.m. GMT plus 10. It'll also be on iRacing Live, and then we back that up with the final round of the Sim Racers Asia GTE Pacific Series, and they're coming down to the final round. The winner, they get a day drive in a Caterham put forward by Caterham Motosports. So that's going to be also an exciting end to a fantastic series. So folks, yep, that's where I need to be. And yeah, folks, so thanks for joining us, and thanks. God. All right. On that note, thank you everybody, and we'll catch up with you very soon. Good night.